In this video, I'm going to be doing a teardown of a Sony Vaio QR3. I'll be replacing the spinning hard drive with an SSD, showing how you can access the RAM to upgrade, removing the old CMOS battery. I'll then give a tour of the factory Japanese Windows XP installation. And finally, I'll be doing a demo and comparison, playing some music using the included detachable speakers. But first, some history and specs. The QR3 was released around 2001 and only available in Japan. Like the QR1 before it has a really unique and standout design, really stylish and different than everything else people were making at the time. Along with the styling, it also has a unique keyboard with typewriter style clicky keys. Also some high quality detachable speakers. Powered by an Intel 750 MHz Celeron processor. Came with 128 megabytes of PC100 RAM, upgradable to 256 megabytes through 2 slots. It has a 13.3-inch 1024 by 768 screen with integrated Intel graphics. It has a 20 gigabyte IDE hard drive and came with Windows XP Home Edition. The QR3 weighed just under 6 pounds. So first, let's take a look at the box and do an unboxing. We have the laptop itself. We'll take a closer look at this in a bit. Our 19.5 volt power adapter. Microsoft Office XP and our factory recovery disks. Unfortunately, I'm missing the second application CD. There is another set on archive.org that does work fine. It doesn't look like there's anything critical on the second disk. And finally, the box for the little speaker ears. My unit was missing these speakers, but I picked them up separately. And here they are. It's a little bit more yellow than the rest of the machine. Now, one thing I don't have is this white cover that you put the standard Sony mouse into to give it more of the styling of the QR3. I found a small picture of it. They did a similar thing on the included floppy drive on the QR1. And next, a binder with all the documentation. I'm not sure if this came with the laptop, but it does have Vaio branding on it. Taking a look inside, we have a phone cable, an empty Vaio CD case, and a CD-ROM supplement instruction sheet. Our main instruction manual. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting here, it shows how to reinstall the different kinds of keycaps should they pop off. How to upgrade the memory, found under the keyboard. our service and support manual, a little quick start guide for Windows XP, a repair form, and finally another service and support guide. So now let's take a look at the laptop itself. Up front, we just have the screen release latch, which is a little unique because it's not spring loaded. Along the side, we just have our CD writer, DVD-ROM, and our memory stick reader. Along the back, under a separate cover, we have our modem phone jack. Under the big cover in the middle, which is nicely labeled, we have our Ethernet port, VGA out, USB, and our power jack. It's a little annoying, you always have to have this cover open to power it. On the opposite side, we have another little door with our iLink Firewire port, USB, headphone, and microphone jacks. Our 2 PC card slots, and our battery door. Now on each side of the screen, we also have a little rubber cover where we can connect our detachable speakers. Not too much on the bottom, just a cover for the modem. You have to open it up to get to the memory or the hard drive. Opening the lid, it's got a pretty unique design. A trackpad, big trackpad buttons, really unique keys that have a different feel to them. For our memory stick, our Sony jog dial, back button, power button. So let's take a look at the detachable speakers. These are pretty unique, although the original 505s had them as well. There are 2 rubber flaps on the side of the screen, 2 contacts. There's also a little spring-loaded switch on the speakers, I guess, so it knows that they're connected. And you just line them up and push them into place. At the end, I'll do a comparison, playing music with and without the speakers. I think they do make a big improvement. So now let's start the disassembly, beginning by removing the battery. I've already removed mine, but it does have kind of a cool mechanism where there's a plastic strap wrapped around the battery connected to the door. So actually pull the battery out when you open the door. And also to note, the previous owner added these gray feet to the bottom. The original is probably turned to goo. Next, remove the only panel from the bottom. This covers the modem. It also hides 2 screws. Now, if you're only upgrading the memory, that's under the keyboard, and you only need to remove the single screw in the middle of the laptop. Next, we just remove all the remaining screws from the bottom. Nothing else is hidden. There are some different sizes to keep track of. Now, as I'm doing this, I want to mention a common issue with the QR3, also the QR1 and some other laptops of this era. If you turn on the laptop and you only see the power LED for a second or two and then it turns off, It's most likely the ADP3421 power management chip. There is a fix you can try with the resistor, but you'll most likely have to replace this chip to fix the laptop. I showed doing this repair in my SR33 video. So flipping it over and opening the lid, next we remove the keyboard. There are two little tabs holding it in that you press towards yourself. So this gives us access to the RAM. If that's all we're doing, we can just leave the keyboard connected. When I picked this up, it had a known issue where the trackpad wasn't working. You can see there's just some regular plastic tape kind of holding it in place. I was hoping it was something like this because it was a pretty good deal, coming with the box. It's in really good cosmetic shape with no signs of yellowing. You see that in a lot of them, especially on the keyboards. So taking a look at the end of the cable, it doesn't look like it's actually damaged, nothing's mangled, but it is missing the little blue strengthening plastic that you usually see. I have these fall off quite often when I'm working in these old laptops. There's another sign that this has been opened further. I'm guessing the hard drive had been replaced, although it is the factory size. So how I repair these ribbon cables is just to put a couple layers of Kapton tape, usually 3 to 4, on the backside where the plastic piece had been. This strengthens the end a bit, but more importantly, it gives it a little bit extra thickness, so it makes proper contact within the connector. That's why the trackpad didn't work before, when they just stuck it back in loosely and tried to hold it in with tape. I probably didn't have this before, but throwing a little bit more Kapton tape just to hold this ribbon in place. Here's our memory if we wanted to upgrade that. And we can clip the keyboard back into place. Now to continue the disassembly, we're going to remove the DVD drive, and that's a little bit easier if we briefly turn on the laptop and eject it. So we flip the laptop over, and we can carefully pull the drive out. So now I can remove the entire bottom cover. It's going to require going around all the edges and releasing the clips, and then being careful and angling it over by the audio jacks. So the first thing to do is remove this old CMOS battery. It's stuck down to this little daughter board with your trackpad buttons. Luckily this one's still in good shape. It hasn't started to leak yet. But I've seen a lot of QR1s and QR3s that this has started to leak and do damage to this board. So now let's take a close-up look at the board. So now let's remove our hard drive. First, we have this little metal plate that's stuck on that overlaps our drive, covers one of the screws. With that out of the way, we have 3 screws holding in our hard drive caddy. And we lift the hard drive straight up to remove it. And here we have our 2.5-inch IDE 44-pin hard drive. It has a right angle connector on the back, similar to the QR1. Replacing the spinning hard drive with a 128GB M2 drive. Reconnecting our right angle adapter. And after reinstalling back into the caddy, pushing it back onto the motherboard. We reinstall our 3 screws. Throwing a little Kapton tape onto this metal plate. It doesn't seem to be sticking down quite as nice as it was originally. Don't want a piece of metal coming loose inside the laptop. You'll see it better later, but I'm putting a piece of tape on the outside to hold this modem jack cover in place. See there's a little tape nearby where I think someone had tried to do it previously from the inside. It's possible it was open to replace the CMOS battery too. So now reinstalling the top cover, starting by getting it over the audio jacks in the corner. Moving that tape that was on the phone jack cover in place. And finally, reinstalling all the screws from the bottom cover. I made a slight mistake here and have to remove this screw. You can see it's one of two screws here that are holding the DVD drive in place. We reinstall our DVD drive. I have to wiggle it around a little bit. And with the final two screws, our reassembly is complete. So now let's do our first boot. Take a look at the BIOS. And now let's take a tour of the Japanese factory Windows XP installation. And first, we have DV-Gate, a simple digital video camcorder capture and editing program. Next, we have Gen A. This is the first time I've seen this on a Vaio laptop. Described as sound and visual mixing software. You can create music with your keyboard. karaoke player, a rail transfer application that seems to let you plan different routes and print out schedules. Sony Image Station, an online image and video sharing site. We have a little information page here, simpler than some others I've seen. Cyber support, their built-in manual and help system. On the right, we have an area where we can drop music files, copy music CDs, or drop data files, and then burn them to CD. Interesting little animation here. We have a welcome app describing the included software. Taking a look at the included wallpaper. Checking out the jog dial. This was included in a lot of Vaios of the era. It's mainly an app launcher, but a lot of the built-in Sony apps had special features that you could use within the app in this menu. things like adjust the screen brightness or system volume. A simple file browser. Power panel to change our different energy saver modes. So now let's play some music and test out the detachable speakers. So now we'll do some comparisons with and without the speakers.
But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yes, I know you told me as you fade away. My mind overwhelms. I think that I'm broken, but I really can't help. I know I'm not perfect, but some days I feel bored or worthless. Turning all around, take lights. Here we go.
And finally, let's check out the computer's properties. But that's it. Thanks for watching.